In 4.4 day 2, I mentioned that pretty much everything is about transformations, and so we're going to put all these transformations together here today. For two examples you see there are lots of transformations going on, and we have to go in the order that was prescribed to us earlier on in the semester, earlier on in the year I should say. Things to remember when you're doing these transformations is we're going to do first horizontal, then vertical. That just follows the order of operations, allows us to do the right things. Now, when we're doing the horizontal first, we're going to always start with the stretch or shrink or the reflections. And in this case, we just have stretch or shrink. Now, the way that you might do this one, the way you might find out stretch or shrink here, you'll notice that it's 2x. And so this is the B coefficient that we've talked about before. So we could say, all right, 2 pi divided by 2, that's going to be our period, which ends up being pi. Now, since this pi is half the size as our normal period, we'll say that this one is a horizontal shrink. So number one, first transformation in this case is a horizontal shrink by a factor of 1/2. It is 1/2 the size of the original. Next one, we don't have any kind of reflection on the inside here. We're just looking inside the parentheses, but we do have a shift that goes left or right. Now, here is the most common mistake people make on this one. This is a place to really pay attention here. Most people see this and they say, oh, okay, minus pi over 2, that must mean right by pi over 2. And if this were just x, that would be correct. But we have 2x in this case. So in order to properly get the left or right shift in this case, we are going to set everything here equal to 0. That's going to more tell the story for this problem. So I'm going to take 2x minus pi over 2, set that equal to 0. Now we'll see what the shift is going to be. So I'm just going to solve this mini equation. Add pi over 2 to both sides. We get 2x equals pi over 2. And then divide by 2, or you can think about it as multiplying by 1/2. And so x is equal to pi over 4. So pi over 4 is actually the amount that we're shifting. Since it's positive, we're going to the right. So the second transformation here is right by pi over 4. Okay, we're getting there. We've got a couple more transformations going on here. Next one. Now that we've gotten rid of everything inside the parentheses, we're going to work our way outward. We've got the negative 3.5 out in front. That one's not too bad. There's actually two transformations involved here. We'll deal with each one separately. But one of them is the negative. That is a reflection over the x-axis. And then the 3.5, since that's a number larger than 1, the fourth transformation is a vertical stretch by a factor of 3.5. Again, the vertical stuff is pretty straightforward. It's pretty much just as you would expect it. And then there is one more transformation in this problem, and that is down 1. Okay, so those are all 5. That's a lot. Hopefully you don't see that in every single problem that we do. All right. Next up is this one right here. Again, we are going to talk about the inside first. We're going to be looking at what's inside the parentheses. Now, I don't see a shift. There isn't a plus or a minus or anything in there. So the only thing we're really going to be concerned about here is horizontal stretch or shrink. Now, first thing I might do is just, again, figure out what is the period. So the period here is going to be 2 pi divided by whatever this coefficient is. In this case, we got 3 pi. Okay, so that means, well, we simplify that. That's just 2/3. So that period, 2/3, is smaller than our basic period of 2 pi. So this is going to be a horizontal shrink. Tricky thing is the factor. Now, you can take it based on this 3 pi here. That's going to be the main clue for you. But if it's a shrink, it's not going to be 3 pi. It's going to be a number less than 1. So the way to get this less than 1 is to put it in a fraction. So it's 1 over 3 pi as the factor here. I guess that's kind of details, but it is important to know that if you have a shrink, that means the factor is less than 1. Next is we work our way outward. We look at this 4. So the second is we have a vertical stretch by a factor of 4. And then last is always going to be the up or down, and so this plus 2 means up 2. And so lots of transformations here, but hopefully you can put that all together. It's the same kind of thing that we've been doing throughout the other chapters, just with different functions. Now we're using trigonometric functions for transformations.